So childhood traumas, which sounds so much goddamn worse than it is. One of the earlier things that I remember scaring me was Ursula from The Little Mermaid. Specifically, the idea that if I slept with my feet, because I was a long child.
You're still a long child.
Constantly in fear of being arrested for longitudinal crimes. Because I always slept in a twin bed, but I was a super tall, lanky kid. And I legit thought, for some reason, that if I slept with my feet hanging off the end of my mattress, even though I was under the covers, that her tentacles would reach up and grab me and, like, pull me under.
Oh.
I had this weird innate fear that was going to happen. Don't know why, but I did. This weird, like, auditory dyslexia that I had with the words fetal and fatal, and that I thought that if I ever slept curled up in bed, I would die.
What?
Yeah. No, I legitimately thought that if I slept curled up in a ball, that, like, through whatever, something would happen, like blood would get cut off, or I would stop breathing, and I would die. I didn't know it was the fetal position. I legitimately confused it with a fatal position.
Oh, jeez.
I was scared to sleep like that for forever. Like, it's just the worst.
You just strapped yourself down onto the bed.
I would sleep on my stomach, or laid out, or on my back, or on my side, but if I got anywhere close to the fetal position, I would get to the point where I would kind of be like a chair. You know, like with my torso to my legs and my legs to my calves being like both at like right angles. But I never got putting my like knees up to my chest because I legit thought I was gonna die if I slept like that. The other thing was I had the VHS copy of the What's New Scooby-Doo movie, Alien Invaders, which was a great movie. I love the movie. The soundtrack is very good. The alien girl was hot. I like the jackalopes. It wasn't the Scooby-Doo movie that was scary. It was the little bonus Cartoon Network short that was added into the back of it, which was that one episode of Courage the Cowardly Dog with King Ramses.
That's the one everybody talks about. That and the weird trumpet.
But it was that one specific episode because we didn't really have Cartoon Network. Like, I grew up with basic cable, so, you know, at best I got Fox 13 with, like, The Simpsons and that stuff on it. And then I had, like, PBS, so I had, like, Arthur and, like, Cyber Chase and all of that, but we didn't have Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network unless I went to my grandma's. So that one Courage the Cowardly Dog episode, I saw quite a bit, because we would often watch Scooby-Doo and the Alien Invaders. And just his voice, this weird, like, hollow, like, return the slab, the fact that he was really far off, alone, in the desert with literally nothing around him, just standing there in the middle of the night, and the three weird, like, wiggly kelp hairs that he has on his head.
I love the song that accompanies him, though.
He's Ramses, the man in charge, the man in charge.
The man in gauze, the man in gauze, the man in gauze, the man in gauze.
A good song. Looking back on it, it's funny, but just that image of him just standing there alone at night was terrifying. Just the worst. I've actually kind of had a fascination with like kid shows and stuff that is like actually legitimately terrifying that's put into them. But like certain scenes in Flapjack, like especially the one with the comb stranger. And the dream sequence that fucking Flapjack has while he's waiting for the comb stranger to exchange the piece of candy for a comb. And he goes to sleep and he comes into like this big, like weird clockwork, like elf house. And there's like this weird comb Santa there. And he's like, "Oh, are you the comb stranger?" And he's like, "Ho, ho, ho, yes, I am. And I've got a present for you." And he's like, "It's a comb for you." And then he like starts like cackling evilly and like flames rise up behind him and his teeth turn into combs. And he's like, "It's for all the bugs in your hair." And he like, Flapjack takes his hat off and he has this one singular hair with like 20 bugs in it. And I'm just like, that is fucking nasty and gross and horrifying. Who put that in a kid show? Who put that in a kid show? That's fucking gross. And not needed.
There are two moments in movies that terrified me for similar reasons. One was Beetlejuice. When I don't even remember what her name was. She was like their attorney or something. Their lawyer. We just saw it. Like the girl with she'd smoke with that hole in her neck.
Oh yeah.
When she first talks about Beetlejuice and then you hear Danny Elfman's like creepy orchestra talking about him, like the line he's been sleazing around your gravestones, like that was horrifying to me. Of course, when you see him, he's not that scary, and even when he takes demon form, it's not that scary, but just the idea of a benevolent demon slinking around your corpses is so scary. And just the build-up, it was so good. And, like, the shadows would creep in. And then the other movie, for the similar reason, this is gonna sound really stupid, but Stuart Little 2. I don't know if you've seen it, but Stuart's trying to find, his adoptive parents' wedding ring, and he thinks like this hawk has it. And then they meet the alley cat Monty, and then it's again really dark. The music kind of cuts out, but there's like ambient noises, and he's talking about the Falcon and how he'll just snatch you up and then drop you from the highest point of the Empire State Building. It was like, that's fucking scary. And in my mind when I was a kid, I didn't think, oh, hawks can't attack humans, but for some reason I was terrified that a hawk would swoop down and just like kill me.
You were a very small child. It could have been possible. Who knew? Very big hawk, very little Zoe. The zombies from the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie. I vividly remember being in my aunt's apartment in Bellevue with my dad and my aunt and like my mom and my sister.
That's the only one I haven't
And we
seen.
were all drinking like hot cocoa and watching this movie. And the first time they like stood in the moonlight and actually turned into zombies, I was like, nope, looking away. Too scary. And one of them that more grossed me out than anything was the Mummy, when the fucking beetles were under the people's skin, stuff like that. Ugh.
I don't like that.
It's not like traumatizing like childhood, like actual fear, but that was gross.
There was a moment from Little Toaster.
Oh my god, the brave little toaster. That whole junkyard was fucking terrifying.
The junkyard didn't terrify me so much that this stemmed my fear of clowns. Was the clown that just comes up, super tall and intimidating, red eyes, just goes, run. And it was like, oh.
It's like, whoa!
No thanks.
Alright, yes I will. Out of this theater. Bye.
With the Powerpuff Girls movie was in theaters, and I went to go see it with Johnny because we were in Seattle for some reason. The first reveal of Mojo Jojo got me crying, and then I had to be taken out of the theater.
Oh no! Because you were so happy to see him. There were tears of joy. You're a big monkey brain. That's what they call the fans of Mojo Jojo.
That's not even scary. Like, even when I started watching Powerpuff Girls, it wasn't scary. But this is, like, my ultimate childhood fear. I was about 2 or 3 years old, and my
oh shit!
And my dad loved like the Christmas specials. Even now, he'll like, we gotta go on TV and watch Charlie Brown Christmas special now. But one of the things he made me watch with him was The Grinch Stole Christmas, the one animated by Chuck Jones. Nice. And the smile scared the living hell out of me.
Oh, where it gets like super like long.
And I never watched it until I was about maybe 11. Every single time it came on, I'd be like, I'm gone. No. And I told my dad this just recently talking about it, and he said, oh, I thought you just did that to make me mad. I'm like, no, I was terrified.
No, Dad, I was legitimately frightened.
And apparently we went to go see the live action The Grinch movie with however old I was, and then again, I was out of the theater crying.
Oh, no.
There is a moment from my childhood that's not from, like, any movie or TV show, but Chuck E. Cheese. Just Chuck E. Cheese terrified me. I remember, like, purposely avoiding Chucky, the mascot, at all costs until I ran into, like, one of those, perpetual moving Charlies.
Oh, yeah.
There was a kid already on there. He paid his tokens, and he was in there, and I just ran in there, pushed him out of the way, and just hid there crying.
No!
Exactly, because it was so scary. He was like, he wanted a hug, and I was like, no.
Did Five Nights at Freddy's bring back any traumatic memories for you about that? Or is that just a video game at that point?
It's just a video game. Five Nights at Freddy's doesn't scare me. When I was 8, my grandmother took me and my brother on, like, a road trip to California to go to Disneyland for the first time ever, and we were super excited. My grandmother is a risk taker. She skis all the time. She said, let's go to the Tower of Terror. And I said, no. But my brother wanted to go on it, and I couldn't stay out there by myself, so I had to go in. And it was just a long line going towards this thing, and I'm terrified of heights. She did not heed my warning.
Come on, no.
And till this moment, I'm still like, terrified of the theme music to the Twilight Zone. I hate that theme music, and to a point where, like, in middle school, I was terrified of blacklight. Because that's all you saw in the hotel was blacklight. And it was just that, and that music is not okay, ever. And then when we got back to the hotel, we had, like, we were on, like, the middle floor. You could overlook the entire thing, and all I saw was the fucking Tower of Terror just looming in the distance. You. Yes, exactly.
Amazing. Oh my god. Anyway, what's everyone else scared of on Halloween? Tell us your childhood traumas in the comments below. Like and subscribe and ring that bell button. Thanks, bros. Brofist. Hit that bell if you think Zoe should have said ended 1 time 5 times ago.
I'm sorry.
You're good.